I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And today we're going to be talking about I can't believe who they left me for.
Uh-oh.
Boy, Margaret, sometimes...
Threw me over to go with this person?
Sometimes we are left and we are just in utter shock by who our partner could leave us for. I've been there.
Right.
You know, I talk about the Applebee's girl leaving me to go explore with Beaky Buzzard.
Beaky Buzzard, I remember that. I remember his name. And he did look like Beaky Buzzard.
He really did.
It was absolutely true.
And it's a kind portrayal of him, if I must say.
And if you don't know who Beaky Buzzard is, you might need to clarify that.
You can Google it. It was from a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Yes.
And this man was just very unattractive, okay? And you could tell he had the most immature personality ever, which I think was relevant at the time because...
Yes, I think it was.
You know, now that I understand relationships and breakups, realizing that my ex had kind of regressed. She was already young to a very young age before she started dating, right? Because she went from essentially from her husband when they split up to starting dating me. And she never got to go be young and party and enjoy life. Yep, so she dated a guy that was that immature before even her husband.
Exactly, so she could make up a lost stage.
Yeah. So, you know, I talk to people all the time that they just cannot even believe who their ex left them for. And so it's so infuriating sometimes.
I'm sure.
You're like, how could you walk away from what we had for that? I've been there. And it just makes you look and think, I can't, like, people say it, oh, they downgraded. You've heard that term.
They downgraded.
They downgraded.
Yep.
And it's very interesting, and you're going to get into some of that later.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about why people act out, right?
Right.
But I've got an email coaching that I wanted to share. I thought this was interesting, okay? They said, hey, Coach, first of all, I want to thank you and Margaret for your videos and support. Now, they're in their early 20s. They said, it all started when me and my fiance of 3 years went to my cousin's get-together when we met the guy my ex cheated on me with. This guy asked me if I did cocaine, which I don't, and he decided to show me a video of him having a threesome with a girl and his friend, which left me disgusted. And just to add, he had sex with a random girl in the restroom at the get-together, and he has 2 kids.
Well, I guess he wanted you to know what he was all about.
And we know that his kids are probably from different women, huh?
Oh, probably, yeah.
I mean, could you imagine that wild kind of lifestyle?
My God. You couldn't maintain it for long. Well, he's doing cocaine and having wild sex. Okay.
Yep. And showing off videos of it to essentially a stranger.
Yes.
I mean...
Yeah, he wanted you to know what he was all about.
Yeah. Sounds like he was recruiting.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does.
Well, after that day, my ex and him started texting each other through Instagram while we were still together. And it went on for 3 days behind my back. I would be so mad if I was this guy.
Mm-hmm.
If I was engaged to this woman and she's texting this guy, the sleaziest guy you could possibly run into behind my back.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you can understand what this poor guy was going through.
Anger. A lot of anger.
Yes.
Me and my ex always argued, but for petty things, and she always brought the past up or always assumed that I was cheating on her but I never did. All because of a phone call I received 3 years ago from a previous ex. Now, mind you, they've only been together for around 3 years, and yet she's still upset about some phone call from over 3 years ago. She said that I never paid attention to her, but I did, but ignored her when she wanted to argue. But the day we got approved for an apartment, we were supposed to move in. I went to her house to help her pack. Her dad had told me she had left, but her vehicle was still outside, so I went to her room and she wasn't there. So I called her and she told me she was in the room that I was standing in.
Oh my, she fibbed.
I wonder where she's at.
I can't imagine.
Well, we argued for a few days, and I begged and pleaded for her to drop him, but one day, the guy who she cheated on me with said he wasn't ready for a commitment, and she came back crying to me, asking for me for forgiveness. So it sounds like she started dating that guy. He dropped her, of course.
Of course.
Because he's not looking for a commitment.
Right.
And then she comes back begging and crying, please take me back, please forgive me, which she did. I did forgive her, but a couple of days later, the guy came back and begged for her back. So then she went back to that guy again.
Okay. And we assumed that she heard all the same stuff the boyfriend did, the fiance did, when he was showing videos.
I'm sure he had told her what happened,
Okay.
right? You know that when all of this went down, he'd be like, "What is wrong with you? This guy is showing off naked videos of him," and I mean,
Right.
to strangers, right? She would call me to have lunch with her and would ask me for kisses days after the cheat. But I told her that if she's going to be with that guy, that she should tell me so I could move on,
Yeah.
but she didn't want to. A couple of days passed, and she tells me that she's going to move in with the other guy at the apartment, only after them being together for 3 weeks while she was cheating on both of us.
Now, is this the apartment that he and she got?
You know, I'm not sure. It says into the apartment.
The apartment,
so
yeah.
it might be.
Might be the apartment they were approved for.
But it sounded like she was cheating on the new guy with him and on him with the new guy.
Yes.
Is this a rebound, and will it last long? I've been in no contact for more than a week and it's killing me. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a rebound because she didn't break up with you and then meet this guy. She essentially left you for this guy, which is different than a rebound.
But also, they were about to move in together, and if she's avoidant, this might have been a rather drastic way to avoid it.
Yeah, but then she moves in with this guy after knowing him for
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
It won't last.
No, of course it won't last. I mean, there's no doubt it won't last. I mean, the chances of this lasting are about 0.001.
Oh, God. If even then.
And I might be generous.
Yeah.
But this guy is just acting out incredibly and wildly. Now, you can do whatever you want. You're an adult. But I somehow believe he's probably violating by showing videos of the threesome, the strangers.
My God. Yeah.
Can you imagine being that girl?
Yeah.
Or the other guy in this? I mean, maybe they didn't want to be videotaped. Maybe they didn't know. Maybe they
didn't know.
And that's probably just the tip of the iceberg with this guy.
And did we say he had kids?
Yes, he has 2 kids.
Oh, my God.
He had sex with the guy, some random girl at the party. I mean, this is all, and you know that it's far beyond this.
Does this sound like a healthy man to you?
This guy sounds like a disaster.
Yeah.
He's doing cocaine.
Yep,
He's showing off
cocaine.
videos.
Yep.
And then my heart goes out to this guy.
Yep.
That the woman that you love is leaving your engagement for this.
Yeah.
And then the mixed messages back and forth. Mm-hmm. I honestly think that he would have to be very angry, and anger would be the healthy response to this.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's not entirely clear. He does have lunch with her, it sounds like.
Yeah. And she's asking for kisses.
Yeah. So it sounds to me like she's really confused.
Yeah.
And it sounds like this guy represents stability, which part of her wants, but the other guy represents wild excitement.
Yep.
And many people sell their souls for wild excitement.
Yeah.
Okay?
And it's devastating to the people.
It's devastating, and will eventually be devastating to her, as you can already see beginning to happen.
Yep.
And certainly for the poor partner, he doesn't know what he did wrong, and I'm not sure he did anything wrong.
Yeah.
She does not sound at all healthy to me.
No.
Not
and she's
at all.
very young and probably very immature.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know he's devastated and feeling this huge loss where all he wants to do is talk to her.
Yeah.
But I honestly think that if he tried to repair it with her, he would be so angry at what she's done.
Well, not only that, I would wonder if she is capable of a relationship at this point in her life. If this kind of wild sexual acting out and excitement and cocaine all appeals to her this much, then it seems to me that she has some kind of trauma history that she would be covering up by this wild acting out.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to imagine what could have happened to this guy either. Because, I mean, he's clearly sexually driven. Hi, want to see my sexual exploits?
Yeah.
Not exactly.
I mean, he's showing
normal
videos.
Behavior. Yeah.
Videos of having sex to people he has no idea who they
Yeah,
are.
no idea who they
then
are.
having sex with random women that he doesn't even know.
I think all to show off his sexual prowess.
But you would think he would be extremely insecure to be acting this way.
Not only extremely insecure, but traumatized. Because if you look at the level of that acting out, you wouldn't have time to focus on anything that might have happened to you.
Yeah, there's...
And if you're horribly traumatized, sometimes that's the only answer people can find is wild, exciting acting out. It's guaranteed to keep away depression, flashbacks, any kind of PTSD, and anything else you don't want to deal with.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It keeps back PTSD?
Yes, wild sexual acting out will stop PTSD symptoms if you have a sexual abuse history. And I would say that both this woman and this man have one, and she was instantly drawn to it.
Yeah.
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 And I'm sure it was 3 weeks. I mean, why do you need more time than that with cocaine and wild acting out?
Yeah. And meanwhile, this guy is so hurt.
And he's so hurt, and he sounds stable and sincere.
Yeah.
However, it does sound like he may have been dating her for a really long time, since she was quite young.
Yes, they were both quite young.
And both of them were quite young. Yeah.
And, you know, maybe the idea of moving in together was terrifying her.
It sounds like she might, in addition to all of that, be avoidant to real relationships. But, you know, hit and run acting out doesn't bother you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, she could have unconsciously been sabotaging this, but I mean, there's no way it's going to last with this guy. He'll probably cheat on her 100 times before she's even known
He'd
it.
have to say to her, you'd have to be in serious therapy for a long time before I even thought about taking you back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I meant that the other guy would be cheating on her.
Oh, he already probably did in the first 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's probably why he dropped, left her after probably a week or two.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll probably sleep with anybody that walks in front of him.
And I agree with you. It did sound like he was recruiting. So he may go from get together to get together, for all we know.
Yeah.
Didn't this look like fun? Want some cocaine?
Yeah. He, you know, it makes me, the first thing that comes to my mind is somebody probably gave him cocaine when he was little and made him, and acted out with him sexually and abused him.
Absolutely right. And he may be addicted enough that there's some pimp now who runs him and uses him as a recruiter. I mean, all those terrible things can happen. But this sounds like extremes to me.
Yeah. But
in terms of both his acting out and hers. This poor guy was spared a life of craziness, possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it now, but yeah,
Yeah.
you know, because if she was capable of doing this, you know...
On no notice and moved in with them in 3 days, then that's not normal behavior, and that's not an ability to make a commitment.
But it would feel devastating.
Oh, can you imagine?
And embarrassing.
Yes, and
I mean, I would be embarrassed if the woman I was engaged to went and did this. I'd be like, because people are going to look at you like, what's wrong with you for dating her?
Yeah, right.
I'd be like, I didn't know she could do this.
It's a terrible position for him.
Right? Yeah.
I'm sure
I mean,
he
it's
had some minor clues, but this was beyond the beyonds. This is extreme, and I've seen a lot of crazy stuff. This is extreme.
This would be extremely traumatizing for him.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's his first trauma either.
Yeah.
They were attracted to each other for some reason.
Yeah.
But he's certainly the healthier of the two. But he doesn't have to think about how this was his fault. It doesn't sound to me like it was. Of course, there may be more to the story. But,
Oh, of course, there's more here. But
it would have been devastating for him to try and make a full-time commitment to her.
yeah. You know, I did a coaching with somebody today who's been a huge fan of the channel for several years, and he's still struggling with a breakup, you know, about 2 years later, a year and a half later. And, you know, his girlfriend left him for another guy, and he's still so traumatized by that. It's so traumatic when somebody does this to you, especially if you think the relationship was good. Like the guy I talked to today, the girlfriend had said, I love you the week of. I mean, I've said that with the Applebee's girl.
Yep.
She was telling me she loved me the week before we broke up.
Yep.
I mean, it's just so shocking. And, you know, to see her do this to him, he would be not only shocked, but angry and hurt and confused. And
on a crazier note, she may have loved him.
yeah,
But when this opportunity for wild acting out presented itself, she couldn't help herself.
I was just going to say, it's like she felt like she couldn't help herself.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Oh, but this poor guy. He
Yeah.
needs to go to therapy to help his little heart mend.
Yep. This wasn't your fault.
no.
Even if you made mistakes in the relationship, you know, Margaret and I both suspect that she probably has some sexual abuse in her history. That's why she was acting out.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
This wasn't your fault. Okay? I know you're going to beat yourself up. That
Yeah.
this is, you know, you did something wrong. Not that you're, you know, we're perfect in the relationship.
Yeah,
I'm
you
sure-
don't have to have been perfect. And it doesn't mean she didn't love you.
And I agree. I do think she probably loves him.
Yes.
And she's probably feeling so confused because she wants to wildly act out, but then feels ashamed and embarrassed and missing this guy.
But your options are, I mean, she's pretty young to be able to see this, but your options are if you have horrible, unprocessed material inside, your options, either you talk it out or you act it out.
That's right.
Okay? And it's pretty hard to see that when you're that young.
Yeah.
But I'm not even sure she planned this until they happened to go to that party, and she went bananas when she heard the possibilities here.
I think she started feeling attracted to him,
Yeah.
and then next thing you know, this guy, of course, was hitting on her right away, getting really sexual.
Oh, sure.
Sure. At first, she probably was like, I can't, I have a boyfriend, and the next thing you know, she's,
Yeah.
you know.
And you know, guys like this can smell, sense someone who has already been victimized. Okay?
Yeah.
So if he's a really skilled predator, and I would guess he is,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, he found her for a reason.
Yeah, I'm just picturing this guy's face on the box
Yeah,
art
right,
of the
saying,
Predator
"What?"
movie.
Oh, yeah.
That's the Predator right there. Wow, very sad. I'm sorry
Very
he went
sad.
through that.
And the
I know
only-
he misses her.
And as my colleague Craig says, you know, he can't control what she does. He can only work on himself, so nothing like this ever happens to him again.
Yep.
But I agree with you. I feel terrible for him.
And she would have to do a lot of work
Oh,
to
yeah.
try and repair this with you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
She's got to be the one fighting to repair it with you.
Right.
And showing a lot of remorse and willing to get therapy and doing everything that she can to earn your trust back.
Yeah.
It's the only way I'd even consider it.
And therapy for her own sake as well.
That's what absolutely. That's what she needs for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Tough
I know
situation.
you don't believe us, but we think you've been spared something terrible.
Doesn't feel like it now.
No, it doesn't, and I'm so sorry.
But it could be in the future. All right. If you want to get our help personally, just go to my website, askcraig.net. Sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Margaret is available for Skype coaching.
If you feel that I can be helpful to you, please call.
Just click on Margaret on the top of the website to do that. That's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth,
I'm Coach Margaret.
and we will talk with you soon.